Lesson 56. Against. What am I doing? You're pushing against the table. Who does this town play football against? This town plays football against Dynamo. Is the chair against the table? No, the chair isn't against the table, but it's near the table. Is the chair against the table now? Yes, the chair's against the table now. Been, gone, return. I am, I was, I have been. I go, I went, I have gone. The past participle of the verb to go is gone. The complete paradigm of the verb to go is I go, I went, I have gone. Was the past participle of the verb to go? The past participle of the verb to go is gone. Was the complete paradigm of the verb to go? The complete paradigm of the verb to go is I go, I went, I have gone. We have two sentences. 1. Mr. Brown has been to Scotland, and 2. Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland. The first sentence means that Mr. Brown has been to Scotland and has returned, and he's perhaps here now, whilst the second sentence, Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland, means he's not here now, he's gone to Scotland. What's the difference between these two sentences? Mr. Brown has been to Scotland and Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland. The difference between those two sentences is that the first sentence means that Mr. Brown has been to Scotland and he's returned, and he's perhaps here now, whilst the second sentence means that he's not here now. We can say Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland because he is not here now, but we can't say I have gone to Scotland because that means I am not here now. Why can I say Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland, but not I have gone to Scotland? Because I have gone to Scotland means I am not here now. Bird, fly, plane. Do you keep any birds at home? No, I don't keep any birds at home. When people go on holiday, do they generally prefer to fly or go by train? When people go on holiday, they generally prefer to fly. Can a bird fly quicker than a plane? No, a bird can't fly quicker than a plane, but it flies slower than a plane. Shot, slave, stick, lake, bell, thin, fat. What's the difference between thick and fat? The difference between thick and fat is that we use thick for things and fat for people and animals. Are you fatter than your mother? No, I am not fatter than my mother, but I am thinner than she is. Who's the thinnest person in your family? My son is the thinnest person in my family. Do people generally become thinner as they become older? No, people don't generally become thinner as they become older, but they become fatter. Swam. What's the past of the verb to swim? The past of the verb to swim is swam. Did you swim last summer? Yes, I swam last summer. Lost. What is the past simple and the past participle of the verb to lose? The past simple and the past participle of the verb to lose is lost. Have you ever lost your way in a large city? Yes, I've sometimes lost my way in a large city. Have you ever lost anything worth a lot of money? Yes, I've lost something worth a lot of money. Each other, one another. I'm looking at you and you are looking at me. We are looking at each other. I am looking at you, you are looking at me, I am looking at him, he is looking at me, etc. We are looking at one another. We generally use each other for two people or things and one another for more than two people or things. What's the difference between each other and one another? The difference between each other and one another is that we generally use each other for two people or things and one another for more than two people or things. Give me an example, please. You and I are speaking to each other. The pupils speak to one another after the lesson. Do we look at each other during the lesson? Yes, we look at each other during the lesson. Do we shake hands with each other at the beginning of the lesson? Yes, we shake hands with each other at the beginning of the lesson. Do your country and England play football against each other? No, my country and England don't play football against each other. Do Italy, Germany, Russia, England, etc. play football against one another? Yes, Italy, Germany, Russia, and England play football against one another. Did the countries of Europe love one another in the past? No, the countries of Europe didn't love one another in the past, but they hate one another. Which language do the students speak to one another in after the lesson? The students speak to one another in Ukrainian after the lesson. To be able. Am able, was able, have been able. The past of can is could. But can has no future tense, consequently we must use the verb to be able and say I shall be able. The paradigm is I am able, I was able, I have been able. What's the past of can? The past of can is could. What the future of can? Can has no future. Consequently, we must use the verb to be able and say I shall be able. What's the infinitive of can? Can has no infinitive. Consequently, we use to be able. What's the paradigm of to be able? The paradigm of to be able is I am able, was able, have been able. Were you able to speak English a few years ago? Yes, I was able to speak English a few years ago. Are you able to reach that book without standing up? No, I'm not to be able I'm not able to reach that book without standing up. Will you be able to speak English well if you study a lot? Yes, I'll be able to speak English well if I study a lot. Have you been able to answer all the questions I have asked you without too much difficulty? No, I have not been able to answer all the questions you have asked me without too much difficulty, but some I have and some I haven't. Factory. Do you think work in a factory is pleasant? No, I don't think work in a factory is pleasant. Ordinary. How much does a meal cost in an ordinary restaurant in the place where you live? A meal costs about 300 hryvnias in an ordinary restaurant in the place where I live. Paint. Can you paint? Yes, I can paint. Oh, no, I can't paint. Stay. Do you stay in the classroom after the lesson? No, I don't stay in the classroom after the lesson. Song. What kind of songs do you like? The kind of songs I like are classic songs.